Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi, That's What I Like.
Hafa day, everyone. Welcome to this month's edition of Uno Mix. Guahusia Isaiah. Again, thank you for joining us. A lot of exciting things on today's episode as our Hannah Devonzo gives learning the Tsumotu language a shot and our Daniel Paris does proa sailing. But up first, she's new to the island and in honor of Mes Tsumotu, Hannah Devonzo takes a little Chamorro language lesson.
In honor of Chamorro Month, I'm taking a language lesson with Dr. Michael Bivacqua. He's a curator at the Guam Museum. Being that I'm new to Guam and sometimes struggle with the pronunciations, I thought what better way than a one-on-one lesson. To kick off our lesson, we started with going over the alphabet.
Okay, so repeat after me.
Okay.
Glota,
Glota,
a,
a,
be,
be,
se,
se,
de,
de,
e, fe,
fe,
ge,
ge,
he,
he,
i,
I,
ke,
ke,
le,
le,
me,
me,
ne,
ne,
nye,
nye,
nge,
nye,
o,
o,
pe,
te,
re,
re,
se,
se,
te,
te,
u,
u,
ze.
se.
In English, the CH is often a ch sound.
Yeah.
In Chamorro, it's more of a ts, a
Okay.
TS. I always say it's like air coming out of the tire. Samoru, Samoru.
Okay.
So let's practice that. Repeat after me. Salik.
Solid.
Good. Sadik.
Sade.
Good. Sotsu.
Okay, hold on. Sotsu?
Sotsu.
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 Sotsu, is that right?
Sotsu.
Chotsu? And this was the moment I realized I may not be as linguistic as I claim to be. Let's move on to basic greetings and simple conversations.
When you come up to somebody, when you want to know how they're doing, you say hafatatat manuhau.
Okay, got it. So let me try. Hafa tatu manu how.
All right. Tat manuhau.
Tata. Oh, did I say tattoo? Okay. Hafa tat manu how.
Hafatatat manuhau.
Okay.
Very good. So hafatatat manuhau. One more time.
Hafa tat manu how.
Very good. See, you get closer every time. Good job. Let's try this one now. Where do you live?
Okay.
Okay. So manu nai sumasagahau.
Okay. Manu nai
Sumasaga.
Sumasaga how.
Very good. One more time. Manu nai sumasagahau.
Manu nai samasaga how.
Okay. Actually, I lied. Let's do it one more time.
Okay.
Manu nai sumasagahau.
Okay. I'm gonna do it without looking at it. Manu hai samasagan how.
Here's how. So here, we'll do this one. We can do this
Okay.
one here for the last one. This is how you can say, ask somebody what's your name, and then how you can answer it. Okay?
Okay.
So, hadzi na anmo. That means, what's your name?
And then I would respond I naan hu si Hannah.
Or you could say guahusi Hannah.
Yeah.
Either
Guahusi
way.
Hannah.
Very good, very good. So let's try that real fast. So I'm
Okay.
gonna ask you what your name is, and then go ahead and respond. So,
Okay.
hadzi na anmo.
Guahusi Hannah.
Very good.
That one's
Maulika
easier.
now. Very good.
Okay, and then if I were to ask you, okay, I'll ask you. Hadzi na amu.
Hey, inaan husi maget.
Okay.
Very good.
How do you say like, oh, nice to meet you?
Oh, you can say maguf umadliihit.
Okay. Magu ila iihe. Now it's time for me to show some of what I've learned so far. So CH is TS, okay. Blue?
Oh, okay, let's
that
try it
right?
again. Setlu.
Oh, Tetlu.
Tetlu.
Okay.
I'll start off. I'll ask you what your name is.
Okay.
Hadzi naanmo.
Guahusi Hannah.
Knowledge. Hafatatat manuhau.
Let's see. Tudo Maluk.
Todo maulik.
Todo Maluk?
Todo maulik.
Tadu. Hold on. Todo Malik.
Todo maulik.
Okay. All right. And then.
All right, and here I'll ask you some more questions. So
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you komaguf how,
Okay.
and then you.
Who responded with? Yeah, Hungen. Oh. Okay.
Hungen?
Hungen Magoff Zut.
Maguf maulik. Maulika now.
Okay.
Konyaleng how.
Oh, yeah, we have. Yeah.
Hungen.
Hungen. Is there like, oh, okay. Hungen Goff Naleng Nyaleng Zoo.
Nyaleng. Very good.
Yeah.
You got it in the second try.
Okay.
So, actually, let's practice your Hungan. Hungan.
Hungan.
Hungan. Okay, good.
Hungan. Got it. And
All
then no ahi.
Ahi. Very
Okay.
good. Okay, so here we go. Ko ma'ohau. Are you thirsty?
Ahi. Ahi.
Oh, there. Ahi.
Yeah.
Manu nai sumasagahau.
Okay. Tea business move.
Maulika dispensive.
If interested in a Chamorro lesson with Dr. Bivakwa, message the Guam Bus on social media and you'll receive a Zoom link leading you to his free class. It's every Saturday from 9 to 12:30 with 3 different levels of classes.
Hannah Devonzo, awesome job on that Chamorro language lesson. Up next, Daniel Perez does Proa Sailing. Keep it here to Uno Mix.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi, That's What I Like. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi, That's What I Like.
Welcome back to Uno Mix. I'm your host, Isaiah Uggan, and thank you for joining us. Daniel Perez does Proa Sailing. Take a look.
Buenas and Havre, everybody. Guahu si Daniel Perez, and welcome to this month's edition of Uno Mix. In the spirit of Mes Chamorro, I decided to try something new and very traditional, sailing a Sakman, or flying proa, for the first time at Matapang Beach. But before taking a ride on the open sea, Jermaine Mendiola of Olitao Inc. gave me a quick lesson about the ancient Chamorro canoe.
The proa, of course, is it was a form of travel back in the day. You can only go to other parts of the world through a canoe or a sailing canoe. So to have one of this means that you have the ability to go beyond the horizon, right? So with that being said, those who own this pretty much were skilled craftsmen to venture off around the globe before even knowing it was a sphere. So, you know, if you have this, you can search for land. If you have land, you can provide for your family, build life, and so forth. So to hold on to this experience or to this tradition, it means that we trace back our heritage, our tradition of going places rather than the modern day plane or vehicle. So we use the wind to help us move, the elements around us, the suns, the stars, the ocean, the waves, the current, to guide us to where we need to go. So that's why we do it, and that's why we see fit that we need to get back this tradition and hold it.
During ancient Chamorro times, the proa was called the fastest, and Senor Ranafaji shared why.
In 1521, when Magellan came, and after they recovered and they started going out, they saw canoes that were flying in and out, back and forth around their ships, and they never seen such fast moving canoes in their time. They saw that at that time when it was seen, it was called, at least before then, it was called Isla Latinas, until later on it was called Isla Modernas. But it was because of that, the fact that our ancestors actually knew how to craft a asymmetric design vehicle that can actually skip off the ocean and sail like as if it was
After the quick and gripping lesson on the proas, it was time to set sail with the Olitao crew. Catching the wind didn't take long while inside the proa, and soon enough, it was smooth sailing. Even though we didn't get too far out to sea, the thrill and joy of being inside and sailing the proa was more than enough. I'll tell you, paddling back is a bit hard if it's your first time on the proa. We spent about 10 minutes in the water until we had to head back. Senor Faji had a few words to share for those interested in trying out the Sackman.
Well, we're always open, to promoting what our ancestors did, and no matter what, for all those who come and for especially more for our people, we would like to showcase what is really true about us. And everyone is welcome. We enjoy sharing what was given to us. So it's not for us to hold; it's for us to give. And we want to continue to keep doing that. We want to keep sharing what we have and what we're going to give outside. Everybody should know. People should know who we are, where we came from, and to do that, we invite everybody.
Senora Faji and the Olitao crew can usually be found at Matapang Beach. If you're interested in seeing a Sackman for the first time or want to sail one, you can catch them there on weekends. Head on down to Matapang Beach and see if you can catch our modern-day Sackman sailors doing what they do best. That's it for this month's Uno Mixed. We'll see you next time, and Biba Mes Chamorro.
Boom! Oh my goodness, Daniel, that was such a great job. Up next, Pepsi Pulse. Keep it here to Uno Mixed.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi, That's What I Like.
It's time for your Pepsi Pulse.
Welcome back to Uno Mix. I'm your host, Isaiah Uggan. This month's Pepsi Pulse, we feature the John Dang Show. After being off the road for 2 years due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, the group returned back home here on island after giving several states a taste of their local music.
It was back to touring for the John Dang Show after hosting their last show a little over 2 years ago due to the ongoing global COVID-19 pandemic. Frankie McJohn is the lead singer for the band.
We spent a month in the States. We hit about, I think, 10 states. Yeah.
All of them freezing.
All of them, yes. Even the warm ones were cold. So, yeah, we just got back. We did a month and we did about 7,100 miles of driving. The total on our van. But yeah, we just got back and we hit California, Arizona, Texas, Colorado, Utah, Oregon, Washington, and then back into California.
Describing the atmosphere, the John Dang Show lead guitarist John Taikenko and McJohn shared how it felt to hit the ground running on tour.
They were great. The Chamorro following out there, at least for us, was just unbelievable. Everywhere we went, even in some cities where we wouldn't think there'd be much of a reggae presence, let alone a Chamorro presence. There was a bunch, and they always showed up, especially the Pacific Northwest. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just like the crowd might as well have just been.
I think what was cool was like the crowds differed based on the state. So you get, like your Texas crowd is a lot different from your California crowd. Your Pacific Northwest crowd is a little more rowdy, which is fun. That's like really fun for us when those crowds are rowdy. But yeah, we had a great showing with not only Chamorros but people who have seen us before on our previous tours coming back out to see us again.
After returning back from their tour, Taikenko and McJohn shared upcoming projects, which includes a new album in the making.
Now that we're back, obviously we're getting back to gigging again, but mostly to keep the sword sharp, just to keep the skills up. Frank and I and the guys we're going to be working on a new album. We got a bunch of songs done as far as concept and lyrics. We got them all written out. Just have to get together with the rest of the nights to put the composition in order. And now that we have Hiko Yamashita helping us in the studio, it's just an extra talented musical here to add to the mix now. So this recording process and writing process, I think, is going to be so much easier, just because there's more people with more input that can make the album and the tracks a lot better this time.
And a lot more polished. I think the touring experience and expanding our like musical vocabulary a little bit, not only with touring but with downtime during COVID, to kind of grow in that way. We're maturing. We're maturing as people too.
Hiko shared what type of sounds fans can expect from the developing album.
A lot more, I would think, a little bit more. As if the Bank Show songs weren't guitar driven enough, I think it'll be a little bit more guitar driven, but not so much. Personally, I think it wouldn't be so much towards the rocked out heavy stuff that we normally do. I think now, just from listening to different artists either on tour or just from growing as a musician, I think I've learned to express the band's vision more with guitar now than I did before. So it'll be definitely a lot more. I would think a lot more guitars this time.
You can find the group on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at The John Dank Show.
Such a fun band. Up next, we're going to wrap up the show after the break.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi, That's What I Like.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this month's edition of Uno Mixed. Guahu si Isaiah, again, your host. Thank you for watching, but before we wrap up the show, here's Sunday Vibes. Be safe, Marianas.